It's the day open up for all the young men and young women for dating openly. It's a real freedom of speech at that time in both East and West. Hello class, today we're going to talk about more about festivals in the late spring. One is called Shangsi Festival, also called the third day of the third month. 3月3 actually become a festival. And somehow it disappeared from Song Dynasty, after Song Dynasty, because the Mongolian people coming. Something faded away. It's a great pity, but this festival is still alive in classical literatures. On the third day of the third month of each year, in Confucius' time, there's a story about Confucius, the dialogue between Confucius and his students. He asked the biggest will of each student in their life, in their social life, in their political life, because he trained his student to be a high-quality politician as well as high-quality scholars. So quite a few students say loud their will, a life will, what kind of achievement they want to achieve. And Confucius just kind of smiled. The last student said, okay, what I dreamed of, my life dream, is to wash away the world and the river of Yi. That's the river name called Yi. And dance and breathe atop the ring altars. And wander home singing the classical poems all the way home. And then Confucius said, okay, that's my dream too. I 100% agree with you. What they're talking about is the day called Shangsi Festival. That day people go to the river, whatever river in your town, in Confucius' hometown, that's the river of Yi. Take a bath. Wash it out. All the bad luck, all the whatever not good from the past year or from the past years in the late spring. And then the dance, doing a dance, pay respect to the heaven, dance to the heaven to pray for the rain, a good rain at this period of a time, which is the end of March. Then singing, chanting, singing old classical poems, beautiful poems, singing all the way home. That is to connect with upper level, the divines, connect to the ancestor, connect to Mother Nature again, and also connect to the enjoyment in one's heart. So that's the day for the scholars. The ancient time, the school is open, and they openly discuss when there's a teacher lecturing, the students sitting around, and they stand up to discuss, to say whatever they want to say, to share. It's a real freedom of speech at that time in both East and West. So after roughly 1,000 years from Confucius' time, the scholars on this day, on this festival, Shangsi Festival, they play a game. They have a party called a winding stream party. Briefly translated into this, they're going to drift a goblet on the Mandarin brook. Then they put a plate, and on top of the plate, one bottle of alcohol. Actually, it's not wine, it's alcohol. It's higher percentage of alcohol drink. And the verse on top of this big plate, that's a wooden plate, big one, and letting it flow on the river. This small brook or small river is kind of narrow, and the flow is kind of peaceful, not too vigorously. It's going to overthrow the big plate. When the plate flows to a certain person, all the scholars sitting along the river, like a zigzag way. When the alcohol plate flowed in front of him, he has to compose a poem simultaneously. New one, not old one. Then drink. He take it out. After finished, put it back into the water, and flip to the next person. That's a kind of elegant, scholarly fashion of game party. They moved down to another couple hundred years to Tang Dynasty. And that day, everybody go spring outing. So this festival is also another chance for everybody, especially including women to go spring outing because it's the end of the spring. But Tang Dynasty women, they have most of the women's rights. If you're talking about the women's rights, they can walk, they can take a ride, or they can ride on a horse, or even they put on clothes, the young man's clothes, put on whatever they want, and ride on a horse for the spring outing. That's what happened in Tang Dynasty. So in ancient Chinese history, until Song Dynasty, before that, actually women share, if not more, at least the same rights with men. But somehow, in the past couple hundred years, some scholar from the West or from China introduced to the Western world that ancient Chinese women, they are barely lack of women's rights. They are forced to do the foot binding. They use cloth to tightly bind the foot and even change the shape of the foot. Okay, that was happening right before Song Dynasty, at one period of time after the Great Tang Dynasty going down. And also, it's the date open up for all the young men and young women for dating openly. You just go to the public place, like in the mountain, in the village, along the river, wherever, when you go the spring outing. And then, after Song Dynasty, this festival is gone somehow. But until today, some of the ethnic groups in the southern China still keeping certain kind of a tradition. Like for Yao ethnic group, many of the southern ethnic groups doing the same thing on the same day, on the third day of March, doing called Dui Ge and Tifno, group of young beautiful girls singing, or some girl leading, or they do one by one. Then this group of handsome young men answer to them, back and forth, do the tifno singing. That's actually the trace of the ancient group dating back to 3,000 years ago. They still keep the tradition.